Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to Circuit Paul Ricard, and welcome to round 11 of the 2021 Clio Cup Europe, the 30th anniversary of this great championship. My name is Chaz Draycott, and I'm here to guide you through all of the action of the first of this weekend's two races. We have, of course, the race just about to get underway right now, and then we have one tomorrow in the morning before the French Grand Prix, starting roughly at 10:30 local time in the south of France. There is your pole sitter just going through shot there. David Pouget in the number 15 car is on pole position for both races this weekend after a very intense qualifying session this morning, and he is joined on the front row by Nicolas Milan. The two of them fighting for the championship at the moment. There are 30 rounds planned for this year, and it's the top 20 results that count towards your total. And both of them have competed in every single race so far this year. But we have a humongous grid for this round, 39 cars joining us in support of the French Grand Prix. And it's amazing to be on the Formula One package. And there is David Pouget with the Playmobil banner on the front of the car. I first saw that at Nogaro when it came loose from the car and hit me in the face in the paddock, actually. But it's a nice little banterous touch there from the team to have, but that's just part of it. They have such great camaraderie in this paddock. Everybody has such a great time at every single race meeting. Every single race in itself is just a joy to watch, and I'm sure that we're going to get more of that great racing this afternoon. But as you can see, there's still cars making their way round to the grid. There is the beautiful Renault Megane RS safety car at the front of the field, a car that I've had the pleasure of being very close to on multiple occasions this season. And here is your grid then for the first race of the weekend. David Pouget on pole position alongside Nicolas Milan, the two title protagonists together. Kevin Jimenez and Anthony Girardot make up row 2. Marc Guillot and Mathieu Lannepoudon line up on the third row of the grid. Behind them, after having a puncture in the first qualifying session of the weekend, which sets the grid for race 2, is Alejandro Schimpf in 7th place. He had a really good session earlier on this morning. Thibaut Bossy lines up alongside him on row 4. Then it's Jordi Palomeras and Nicolas Abea. Michael Carey and Alexander Alboy make up your 6th row of the grid. Behind them is Eric Zabala in 13th place with Ivan Riera next to him. More drivers in the Challengers Cup. Then it's Clement Cecuti and Jerzy Spinkovic on row 8. Paul Cocaine starts 17th, and then Florent Grisot is 18th, the first of the drivers to be over 2 seconds off the top spot. Behind him is Guillaume Maillot, who had a penalty and dropped down a couple of positions to 19th. Then it's Frank Horn in 20th and Javier Sequendes in 21st place. Alex Royo is 22nd, ahead of Daniel Nogales in 23rd, with Laurent Giardas 24th. Then we have Stéphane Etienne, with Jeremy Bordegaray joining him on row 13. Fabien Julia lines up alongside Stefan Polderman, with Lionel Viguier in René Steenmetz just behind. Then it's Guy Frey alongside Fabien Rival, and car 33 is in P33. Michael Fay with Antoine Bordegaray alongside him. Row 18 is Yereli Ospanov and Henrik Siebel, with Joaquin Rodrigo in 37th, Michael Leal in 38th, and Gabriel Alonso lining up at the back of the grid. And there is Gabriel in the 61 car. You can see the heat haze. The air temperature is 26 degrees at the moment. Track temperature 39 degrees Celsius. It's very hot out on track. It was 44 degrees during qualifying yesterday. It was only about 24 this morning. Great shots though from above the grid here. Like I've said, 39 cars here this weekend. Last time out we were at Misano a couple of weeks ago, and we had 28 cars there, so almost another 50% of the grid added on for this weekend. But as soon as it was announced, all of the drivers, all of the teams wanted to be a part of it. Now here's an interesting man to watch this weekend. Anthony Girardot in the number 5 car. That is actually a Chefo Sport car which he's racing this weekend. It broke down in the first qualifying session, but for the second one it seemed to go just as well as he wanted it to, being on 4th spot for this race. He actually qualified 2nd in the first qualifying session, but is now going to be starting from the back of the grid for the race tomorrow after a technical infringement. And there's the man that they're all trying to get the better of at the moment, David Pouget. Pole position, first in the championship, and he's going to be, hopefully for his sake, first down to turn 1, but he's got 11-time champion Nicolas Milan alongside him. Good to see fans back at the circuit as well, which is nice to have. Helps the atmosphere of the entire event to have fans there with us. And as you can see, the GPA mechanic running down the left-hand side. It was actually the very mechanic I had a really good chat with at Misano after the pair of races there, with the all-important water that is very much necessary this weekend. There he is, having a good old stroll down to Gabriel Alonso's car. You can see everybody enjoying themselves in the grandstand and a nice day out for all of the fans to have. I'm currently back here in the UK with the wonderful people at Alpha Live helping us make this all possible, so I can commentate live on the action this weekend. And we thank, obviously, everybody at F1 as well for sending the graphics and the feed and everything else over. It's been a wonderful thing to be a part of. I must admit, from a personal standpoint, it's quite crazy to be commentating with Formula 1 graphics on my screen. Either way, look at the size of the grid we have here. It's absolutely glorious. Glorious stuff. You've got to love that. Alpha Tauri fans in the stand as well, giving us a wave. We've got fans from all over the globe as well here this weekend supporting their favourite drivers, not just in Formula 1, but the support for this championship as well has been absolutely incredible. The bright yellow car that you see there, no, not the white and yellow one, the yellow one, is Marc Guillot in the number 2. And then the white and yellow one at the front, which is David Pouget, has got a target on his back, essentially, as he leads the championship. The 1-minute board goes in the air. Moteur, which I believe means start your engine, sunshine, will bring them all into life. And I'm so excited to see how these cars do around this circuit. So don't forget, 2 massive back straights here at Paul Ricard, split up by a chicane. It's almost like the Mulsanne straight when you're in these Clios. It's incredibly long, and we're going to see a lot of slipstreaming. Now, I've actually sort of half-placed a bet with the producer that I have here in the studio in the UK, that whoever leads going on to the first lap will not win the race. Sorry, the last lap, I should say. Will not lead the race. Win the race. I'll get it right at one point. Either way, everybody's getting ready to go. The temperatures will still definitely be rising in the cars. 15-second board goes in the air at the front of the grid, and the marshal makes a very hasty exit, stage left. And the Clios will once again do battle. They go on to their green flag lap, albeit tentatively from David Pouget. You can hear the rasp of these wonderful little turbocharged cars. They've been so entertaining all season, the Clios. If you haven't seen them already, you are in for an absolute treat today. And also, watch out for the dark blue car, Anthony Girardo. He chucks this thing around on every green flag lap like it's a go-kart. He chucked it around so much at Misano, he actually had 2 wheels off the ground when he was going one way then the other. And we'll see the same again here, I'm sure. They're not going to do too much weaving, I imagine, at this point. They need to get the temperature into their Michelin tyres, but the track will do a lot of that already. It's over 40 degrees now, track temperature. Air temperature is 26 degrees. And you can get used to seeing a bit of that as well. Rear wheels being lifted off the ground in these cars. Wonderful views here, though, at Paul Ricard. And it's a very technical circuit. I was saying this morning during qualifying how you really have to have your wits about you here and carry momentum through every corner and be so precise around here, because it's very easy to mess up the next corner by running wide at the one previous. The corners really do flow into one another, which can sometimes make overtaking very difficult, but it can also mean that if you are brave enough to put it down the inside, you won't just compromise your rival's lap time or your rival's run through a corner, you'll actually compromise yourself. And this camera is going to get some very good action here as they go onto the brakes into the chicane. And the fans there get a fantastic view of all of the cars dancing around on the brakes. And sometimes the cars often want to go right on the brakes there, as we saw with David Pouget during the first of our 2 qualifying sessions. He got to the end of the session and unfortunately just went in a little bit too hot. into that chicane. But they now filter their way round into the latter stages of the lap. And that's Matteo Lanapoudon in the 111 car there, the white and black car that's just gone through. He was fastest in one of the earlier practice sessions this weekend. There's Schimpf as well. I'm excited to see what Alejandro Schimpf can do. I've been sharing commentary duties this season with David Addison, and I've not yet commentated on Alejandro's advances. A lot of the drivers don't do every single round of the season, you see. So we get the interesting mix of, if you get a really, really quick driver that only does a couple of rounds, they can really mix it with the big boys at the top of the standings and shake things up. It's great to have. But at the moment, the top 5 are drivers that we've had at every single race meeting, and they've always been up there in the top 5. So will we see anybody like Lanapoudon, Schimpf, Bossi, Palomares or Abea make a run through in the top 10? David Pouget now comes out of the final corner, gets his first look with nothing in front of him down the very, very long straight here at Paul Ricard. And I imagine that's quite a nerve-wracking moment pulling up on the Grand Prix grid here. They've, of course, raced at Paul Ricard before, but it just means that little bit more when it's on the Formula One weekend to all of these drivers. Gorgeous shots as well this weekend there. You can see the heat haze. There's Jerzy Spinkovic. Watch out for him, actually. The 125 car. He's starting 16th on the grid. The Polish driver's been very, very exciting to watch. We also have the Challengers Cup and the Gentleman Drivers Cup. You'll see the blue G on the rear window there of Laurens Giardis and the red C of Daniel Nogales' car. Challenger drivers are drivers that are either under the age of 26 or have not competed in a set number of Clio Cup races. Gentleman drivers at the other end of the scale, drivers over a certain age that have not competed in a certain number of races either, basically. And we do have those individual classes which are up for contention, not just in the races, but they have their own championship as well. And it's Kevin Jimenez that is dominating the Challengers Cup at the moment. And Frank Horn doing a good job in the gentleman drivers. That very, very bright yellow car you see there as well, by the way, was Henrik Siebel. He's just peeling off to the right there. It's a very, very easy to spot machine. Unfortunately for him, he's not quite near the front of the grid. He's starting 36th in this one. But everybody gets ready to go now for round 11 of the 2021 Clio Cup Europe. The revs rise, as do mine, and we're away. It's not a great start by Kevin Jimenez, looks like. Is that Thibaut Bossi that's come through really well in the background? I believe it may have been. Look at that as well down the left-hand side there. That was the 39 car of Clement Chatuti. Lionel Viguier is off on the right, so too is Mikel Fay. But David Pouget leads them down to turn 1. You've got Guillaume Mayo down the inside of Jerzy Spinkovic into there as well, just avoiding contact. I think Paul Coquine might have got a bit of a tap as well. Not quite sure who that was going in there with him. Laurens Giardis is just trying to hug the inside line a bit further back. It's side by side between Bossi and Gerardo there for 5th position. Car 5 remains P5 down the inside. Pouget chucks it sideways through the left-hander. Car stepping out a little bit on the brakes. We've got a number of them running wide. Oh, there's contact in the background. That is either Polderman or Steenmetz that has gone around. We'll have to try and catch up with who that was a little bit later. Running off there is the number 3 car of Alex Royo. But look at this ultimate stream of Clios through the first couple of corners. Now Pouget's moving out of the way, making sure he doesn't give anybody the slipstream. Speaking of moving out of the way, I believe that was the number 64 potentially, was it? No, not the 64 car, the 94 of Florin Griso. Now Milan looking down the inside of Pouget on the first lap. Jimenez wants to go with him. Jimenez teammates with David Pouget, so they're going to try and work together against Milan. But behind them, they've got Milan's teammate, Marc Guillot, and then another teammate of his, Anthony Gerardo. So it's Milan competition with 3 cars near the front, GPA racing with 2. There's Mikel Carré trying to go past Nicolas Abea. Somebody else has gone off in the background there as well, cutting the chicane. I think that might be. It's not Gabriel Alonso. It could be Ivan Riera. Round the outside then, Milan has to hang on as Kevin Jimenez gives him a bit of a kiss through the right-hander. He moves back over and says, "Not on your life, mate." Try it again. Jimenez says, "OK, watch this one then." Gives him a bit of a tap in the door. That helps the rotation for Jimenez. That's one way of doing it. And look at Gerardo down the inside of Guillot. Now he's down the inside of Pouget, championship leader. Leans on him. Wing mirror gets folded in already. That often happens by the end of the race. Guillot chucks it up the inside, though. Not the white and yellow one, the yellow one. Three of them, all with three wheels on the ground. Pouget moves out of the way, nearly goes into the side of Girardeau, and Pouget, in a matter of moments, has gone from the lead down to almost 5th place. There's still 3 wide, though. 2 corners to go, boys. Guillot looks down the inside. Don't hit your teammate, mate. That's the worst thing you can do. Girardeau from 5th to 3rd. Pouget pushed out wide. He's got to come back on at some point, boys. Thibaut Bossy's now going to take advantage. The two of them remain side by side, but looks like Bossy's got the run. Jimenez at the front then, ahead of Milan. And that was only the first lap of the race. We've got 22 minutes left yet. This is the racing you can expect to see from Clio Cup Europe. It's absolutely fantastic. You've got Alboy there in the background, trying to go past the 23 of Palmeiras. It was him that might have gone straight on earlier. A little bit of contact between the teammates, I think. No, it was Schimpf looking down the inside of Palmeiras. Not quite working, but the 2 GPA racing cars you can see in front of him. Similar liveries, just different colours. And we've got duos breaking away here, actually. Jimenez and Milan. And then behind, Girardeau making sure the tyres are working hard with Guillot right behind him. But Pouget, he'll be gutted with that first lap. You can see that Guillot's gone way, way off there. Pouget and Bossy now trying to get the run. Now, they're not teammates. Thibaut Bossy is part of the TB2S team. So he's got no allegiance to the cars in front of him. But once again, another train forms as they come onto the back straight. David Pouget looking to the left of Guillot, makes him move all the way over. Bit of bump drafted NASCAR style down the straight, maybe. Not quite. Now let's see what they can do on the brakes. The heat haze looking beautiful as ever. Milan ducks out of the slipstream. It's the second time he's done this. Hard onto the brakes, big lock up on the left rear from Jimenez. You can see his hand throw the car into the chicane. Guillot stays ahead of Pouget. Then it's Bossy, Landa-Poudon, Palmeiras. Incredible racing though already. Look at the massive train still on their way into the chicane. There's the bright yellow 51 of Henrik Siebel. You can certainly see him. They chuck it into the right-hander then. Milan just about staying ahead of Jimenez, puts the car into the middle of the road before the next right-hander. He knows that he can hit the apex early, let the car wash out wide and then get a good run on the exit. You can hear the distinct sound of Michelin's screaming for mercy as they go through there. I think Pouget might have lost another place to Bossy. He has, and it looks like he's also losing a place to Landa-Poudon, who's gone through. They might have made contact on the way into there. Pouget's pushed it through. Here's the start again. I think it was Palmeiras got a great launch off the line. Goes around Schimpf. And then there is Giututi on the left, using all the road. Now look at the top of your shot for the blue and red car. Guillaume Mayo looks down the inside of Spinkovic. Nearly contact between the two of them. They almost go 4 wide into there, piling into the back of Eric Zabala. And then this was the contact a bit further back. Oh, it was the 55 of Steenmetz that gets turned around. I'm pretty sure that Steenmetz unfortunately got turned around at lap 1 at Hockenheim as well. He really did suffer there. There's Spinkovic getting a hell of a smack in the side by Alex Royo. Says, go on, rotate the car if you can. He then turns into the right, nearly gets a hit again, but it's all hadgy-bargy stuff. But these cars can really withstand it. They honestly take such a battering. We had a lot of contact, admittedly, at Misano, but it was all friendly contact, and it was incredible racing. Nicolas Milan, understandably, fastest lap of the race so far. 2 minutes 30.2, as you see at the top of your screen. But Pouget will not be happy with this. He's stuck in the middle of this train at the moment with a couple of his GPA racing teammates behind him, but either side of him at the moment is a Milan competition car. Guillot in front, Landa-Poudon behind him. This is not the situation he wanted, starting from pole. You can see Jimenez's bonnet waving and flapping around in the wind. It was doing that yesterday as well. I'm wondering whether that counts as a flexi wing, which has been the discussion a lot in Formula 1 recently. Jimenez dancing around on the brakes again. Now it's his turn to go down the inside of Milan. Pushes him out a little bit wide, says get around there. Now watch Girardeau in the dark blue car behind them, because he's taken a very different line to Milan. He's going to get a great run. The two of them are teammates at Milan competition, even though that is a Sheffo Sport car. Now Milan defending the inside from Girardeau. He's got the run on Jimenez as well. Turns the defensive manoeuvre into an offensive one. Oh, excuse me, Ballard, says Girardeau. He's now side by side with Jimenez. Jimenez cuts the nose off the number 5 machine These three making a great effort at the moment to break away while still battling. Usually, if you get them battling like this, they will just completely offer themselves up to the cars behind. Jimenez takes a wider line through there to try and get a slingshot on the exit. 3 wheels on their wagon. Great shot from the curb. Here is the move from Jimenez again. You'll see the car dart to the right as soon as he touches the brakes, watch. It just unloads all the weight on the rear end. Car tries to turn right, he just controls it nicely down the inside and takes the lead. And then straight away Milan says, not on your life, thank you very much. I'll take that back. That unfortunate Ballard, wrong place, wrong time, I think. It's only doing its job. Leave it alone. Right then, top 3 across the line once again. Fastest lap by Anthony Girardot. That slipstream helping him out. Pouget is behind Bossy in the background. Jimenez dives out to the left. Then suddenly the brakes decide that he's going to turn right. I think the brakes determined that line there before his steering wheel did, definitely. It's not looking like an easy afternoon so far for David Pouget. We have another race tomorrow, don't forget, but he's not going to care about that one right now. He's thinking, what can I do to make sure that Milan doesn't retake the championship lead? Because he will, if it stays this way. Here's some shenanigans further back. Oh, I think that just as they come through the final corner there, Coquin tried to carry a bit more speed in, because if he turns in there, look. Oh, sorry, it's Sequendez. Maybe just carried a bit more speed in so he didn't get hit by Giardas, but in turn hits Paul Coquin, who manages to carry on. Back with Jimenez and Milan. As I said before, Jimenez in the Challengers Cup, and he is currently the highest placed Challengers driver by a while. Lana Poudon is the next one in 7th place. He's just trying to put the pressure on Nicolas Milan at the moment, but he's not really a guy that you can put pressure on and get the better of. He's won 11 championships, for crying out loud. It's not his first rodeo. Those championships come as a combination of Clio Cup France, Clio Cup Spain, Clio Cup Europe as well. Incredibly talented driver, Nicolas Milan. He knows exactly what he's doing behind the wheel, and his team, Milan Competition, set these cars up so well. There's a reason they're all near the front all of the time. But Jimenez, he's been so exciting this season, and he's proving it again now. He's showing his nose at every single opportunity to get down the inside. Look at them, it's like the red arrows coming through there, or should I say the Partout de France coming around the long right-hander. Sideways from Girardot, he thinks, oh, there's a gap there, I'll go down there. Looks even further down the inside of Nicolas Milan. They're not going to go 3 wide around there, surely. It looked like he was going to get his nose down the inside. Girardot doesn't need his right wing mirror by the look of it. Leaning on each other again. There won't be a single straight panel left on these cars by the end of this, except the roof. That's usually the way. But as I've explained, it's always in good fun. It's never horrific argy-bargy and massive contact. It's just always a little tap here and there. Encouragement, as I call it. But still, the field is not really spread by too much, to be honest. 1st to 28th last time round was covered by 15 seconds. Which again shows you the incredible pedigree of this championship and why single-make racing is so good, especially in cars that don't affect aerodynamics so much, or don't have so much effect from aerodynamics, I should say. They still split the air massively and give a humongous tow in the slipstream. As, oh no, into the pits. That's the 28 machine of Antoine Bourdegaray. Now, him and his brother both run in the series. Jeremy Bourdegaray, who's in a dark grey camouflage car, ironically undermined by the fact it's got bright pink on it. There's bright yellow down the inside of Kevin Jimenez, and that is Anthony Girardot muscling his way through. Excuse me, excusez-moi, he says. Launches it down the inside. Takes 2nd place. You've got to get your elbows out in this championship. That's just folklore. Jimenez is going to say, excusez-moi indeed, and then put it back down the inside, I imagine. Either that, or he's realised that Milan is getting away if they battle. Girardot wants that for his teammate. Oh, a friendly kiss there on the right rear, maybe. Oh no, that's Thibaut Bossy. That was a big moment. Not sure if he got any assistance on his way there. Certainly looked like it. Maybe just a lively moment on the brakes, but that split that little quintet in half. And now he's side by side with Lana Poudon. And surely Alexandre Alboy is going to go through as well. But as I was saying there, Girardot will happily defend from Jimenez. because he knows that if they battle, his teammate Milan can just get away and gain so many championship points on David Pouget. But at the same time, the slipstream is going to keep them together. Here's some of the shenanigans further back, or at least this was the move by Gerardo, I should say. Late stuff down the inside. Bit of leaning, but it's not like he absolutely sent him through there. Chucks it to the right. He's trying to give room, at least. Or I hope he was. Now, this is bossy. Wonderful slow-mo shot along the curb. Look at that, really leaning on the front right on the brakes. Left rear still off the ground. Still off the ground. Into that big dip. That's going to be far from comfortable. Look at that, the tyre nearly coming off the rim there. The way the car bounces so aggressively. I think he just moved out of the way slightly so he didn't hit the back of Marc Guillot on the brakes there. Good awareness to do that. We saw it in qualifying as well. I think it was... I'm trying to think who it was in qualifying. Really chucked it off the track there to make sure they didn't hit the car in front. But Pouget does the fastest lap of the race now. That's intriguing. 2:29.4. That's faster than he went in the first qualifying session of the weekend. We've got a yellow flag in Sector 3. 2 wheels in the background as well for, I believe that was Palomares. But all of a sudden, Jimenez has dropped back from these lead 2. And now he's under pressure from Marc Guillot. The track is now clear at the final sector. So whatever the problem was there has resolved itself. Gerardo's looking feisty here, though. He wants to overtake his teammate and champion-elect, effectively. Or what he'd hoped to be a champion-elect come the end of the year. 3 Milan competition cars in the top 4. And Gerardo flashing his lights. You can't do that to the team boss, Anthony. He's saying, look, Nicolas, this Chefo Sport car's rapid. Watch what it can do. Guillot says, watch what I can do. Chucks it down the inside of Jimenez in the background. He's going to get the run. And Gerardo goes for the lead. He says, you may be the boss, but right now, I'll take that, thank you. Oh, never mind. He's going to take a very agricultural line on the exit of the chicane. Milan's going to get a big, big run out of that. Guillot is probably hoping now that he can just tow Jimenez along and Pouget. Not that he'd really want to. They're both GPA racing cars. But he's going to hope that they can just get close to these top 2 at this stage. Here's the move again. Look at the little wiggle on the brakes there from Gerardo. You can see the tyre on the rim, look. It's definitely coming away as they chuck the car in. It's something I've noticed a lot this season from these cars. Really putting the pressure on. Here's what happened. That's Yerali Ospanov having an Ospan off at the final corner. Although, to be fair, I say that, he stays on the road. Oh, excuse me, Jimenez comes back onto Guillot, says, I need room, mate. Thank you. Down the inside a little bit later on the brakes there. You can see he's got the 2 yellow spokes on each wheel as Marc Guillot. He's just, oh no, I've run wide. Jimenez has to get blocked by it. Now watch Pouget, the white and yellow car. No, not the yellow one, the white and yellow one. Chucks it down the inside of Jimenez. Side by side as they go down the straight. But these two really making a good example of these, well, I would say these Milan competition cars at the front, but as I keep saying, the front one's a Chefo Sport car. Jimenez and Pouget side by side. Don't hit your teammate. Pouget's probably worrying about the fact he's got Jimenez's name all over the car for Jimenez Logistics. He doesn't want to scratch the sponsorship off using the name of said sponsor. This is great stuff to watch, though, through these chicanes here. The flow of this circuit really complements these cars. The drivers have to be so precise and so smooth everywhere they can be. Even if most of the time they're on 3 wheels around there. I mean, even with the front wheels as well, when they chuck it into the corner hard enough, the opposite wheel is almost off the ground. Because of the camber they run on the front wheels, they have quite the low contact patch when the car really leans over. Everybody talks about race cars being flat, but these things really do have a bit of body roll about them. Zabala, by the way, is up into 10th place now ahead of Schimpf, who hasn't really made any advances forwards. He's more gone backwards. He's dropped 3 places as Milan has now gained 1. Net, all race anyway. Back into the lead. Gerardo climbing around all over the back of him now. Great to see the 2 teammates battling. I imagine they're just thoroughly enjoying themselves out there. Both on home turf, supporting the French Grand Prix. racing at the front of the pack in the sunshine. It's absolutely amazing. What more could you want, eh? You can see Girardeau tries to tighten up that line into the long right-hander. Nearly runs into the back of Nicolas around there. But Milan just has this way of holding on at the front. I still don't understand how he does it, but all the time he just stays at the front of the field. Now this is Schimpf with the number 8 machine of Zabala right behind him. Closes off the apex. Zabala gives him a bit of a kiss. Not through his own choice, though. I think Schimpf just, unfortunately, didn't quite see that one coming. Someone that looks like he didn't see that one coming was Guillaume, trying to defend from Jimenez. Sticks his nose up the inside. Lock up from the guys in front. Puget's going to get involved in this now as well. He's going to try that cutback once again. No, he takes a wider line. Thibaut Bossy and Mathieu Lanapoudon and Alexandre Alboy have been dragged into this as well. This is something that I've really come to realise with the Clio Cup this year, is that you can have these small battles of 2, 3, 4 or even 5 cars. As soon as anybody starts battling hard enough, the train just gets longer and longer and longer. And suddenly the battles get more and more intense. But Guillaume is doing a fantastic job at the moment to hold on to third. It's a Milan competition 1, 2, 3 as things stand. And then it's GPA Racing, TB2S, and another Milan car, then another GPA car. Puffs of smoke from the right rear wheels as they skim across the ground on the way into the braking zones. You can hear the turbo noises as well. Of course, the wastegates just letting all of that pressure out. 200 brake horsepower, these Clios, so they've got some really good poke through those front wheels, so much so that the drivers do need to consider how they manage the throttle. Now, I was talking about tyres coming off the rim, and that's exactly what's happened to Guillaume Mayo's car with a front left puncture there, unfortunately. Whether that was through contact or general wear, we do not know. The track temperature's 42 degrees at the moment, air temperature's nearly 28. So it's very, very hot and sticky out there at the moment. Speaking of sticky, Girardeau's really sticking to the back of Nicolas Milan, isn't he? It's like bad sun cream. Just won't come off, as Jimenez has just gone flying down the inside of Guillaume at the chicane. And now the 3 wide in the background, Puget in there as well. He's saying, right, come on boys, we've done this before. I'm on the inside, please just concede. Girardeau gets his wish from Milan, and Puget suddenly finds himself in 3rd place. Guillaume finds himself down in 6th. Behind Jimenez, behind Bossy as well. Thibaut Bossy's taken advantage of this really well. Now what Puget wants is for Bossy and Jimenez to fight. If he could, right now, he'd tell Jimenez, have a go at this guy and let me break away. I need to go after Nicolas Milan. I need this for the championship. There was 5 points between them coming into this, and considering they have nearly 400 points each, just shows you how close this championship is. Guillaume riding the curbs there. And there is Daniel Nogales. And it's Daniel No-Go-Les at the moment. It's not going anywhere. Unfortunately, an issue for those guys keeping them in the pits. But this guy's certainly got some go at the moment. Anthony Girardeau with Nicolas Milan still right behind him. Just under 5 minutes to go now. Yes, believe me, 20 minutes has gone by that fast. Cross the line once again then. This is now the 9th lap of the race. You can hear them just skating around on the brakes. Little lock-ups here and there. It's like being at a kart circuit. Just hear those tiny little inklings of the tyres locking up and sliding across the surface. Great view of the airport in the background there as well. The aviation fan in me enjoys that. A bit further back, by the way, into 12th place. Carré and Royo swapping around. Those two having a nice little battle in the midfield. Spinkovic is still 14th. Although Royo showing like he's just dropped down the order a bit more now. Spinkovic having a bit of a swap round too. Anthony Girardeau, they're really on a mission at the moment. Some phenomenal pace from him. That car has certainly come alive. Down the straight again they go. They've got a healthy gap over the rest of the teams now, as they all bunch up together. And you can see there's a really big gap. I think Palomeras is the one on his own. He's about 5 seconds off everybody else and 5 seconds ahead of this battle, which is Schimpf and Zabala. Just behind them is the number 7 of Michael Carré. with the bright, bright yellow on the front of the car. They're all fanning out, trying to find their own space on the circuit. Now, so far this season, I'm just trying to have a look at Anthony Girardot. He's taken one race win. He won the first race at Hockenheim. He was behind David Pouget for the whole race and then took the win on the final lap. Oh, a bit of a moment there for the 93 of Nicolas Aubert. And he doesn't obey track limits, does he? Flings it back on the circuit, bobbles around on the surface, and then finds himself off the track again. Anyone that's been following the Formula One will have seen the damage that that red runoff did to Carlos Sainz's tyre earlier in the weekend. So these guys definitely do not want to go near any of that. Looked like the boot was coming open on Nicolas Milan's car there. Not sure whether he'll get a warning light on the dash for that or not. Be interested to know if he did. Well, it'd be interesting to me. You might not think the same at home, but either way. 2 minutes and a quarter left to go. And we should have this lap. And then one more. Because it's 25 minutes plus one lap for these races. And Nicolas Milan still looking feisty behind Anthony Girardot. Milan has 5 race wins to his name this season. There's only one race meeting where he hasn't won a race, and that was Monza, where he finished well in race 1 but got no points out of race 2. David Pouget had no points out of race 2 at Hockenheim despite finishing second in the first race. So they're equal in terms of DNFs or non-scoring finishes at the moment. Pouget will be quite pleased actually that he's in the direct position behind Milan, at least at this point. It's a bit of damage limitation for him at the moment. Flying down the straight they go. Towards the chicane once again. You'll see Girardot's car bounce around on the brakes. The rear end just trying to break free. Obviously the front end of these cars doing pretty much everything. The rear wheels are just along for the ride. Thibaut Bossy was really attacking that curb there. There's the unmistakable bright yellow car of Marc Guillot. And just wait for out of the chicane. There's Palmeiras. All on his own. But now these guys have started to be a little bit more equally spread out now. There's anywhere between 0.6 of a second to 1.2 seconds between them. But you can see, even visually, they look a lot more evenly spaced than they were before. Pouget comes into shot on 2 wheels. You've got to love that. Great commitment as ever. But this could go any which way now. Now remember what I said earlier. The driver that leads them onto the final lap will not win the race. But Girardot, to me, has a lot more of a convincing gap than I anticipated earlier on. So I might be about to lose a bet. Either way, 5 seconds left on the clock. Into the final corner they go. And that will mean now that this next lap will be the final one. And it's Anthony Girardot leading the way. Nicolas Milan in second place. Then it's David Pouget, Thibaut Bossy, Kevin Jimenez, Marc Guillot in 6th place, Mathieu Lanapoudon 7th, and then Alexander Alboy in 8th. All of them separated by just 4.8 seconds after 25 minutes of racing. Milan suddenly has turned it on now, and he looks a lot more aggressive, even just through the first couple of corners. He's going to try and set himself up for a really good run onto the back straight and get some hefty slipstream of Anthony Girardot. They're using all of the curb through there. Guillot almost looked like he took off as he went over the camera there. Now watch the white car, Nicolas Milan, watch his run. He's going to keep it nice and smooth. He's not going to overcook the front end. It's just going to be all about carrying the speed through here. He's going to get a great run out of there. That looked nice and tidy. A little bit of a bounce over the curb maybe, but didn't seem too bad. Tucks up right behind Anthony Girardot. Now, is he going to do it here, or is he going to do it after the chicane? Because don't forget, there's another slipstreaming opportunity after this. Girardot moves to the right to defend. He feels the need to do it. Milan almost gets an overlap. We've got a yellow flag in sector 1, so somebody's had a bit of an issue there. Oh, Girardot's messy out of the chicane. Milan, as anticipated, right up behind him, tucked in. He's going to suddenly move out to the right-hand side. I say suddenly, he might make it nice and progressive. No, he's still not looked down the inside at this point. Is he going to try it into the last couple of corners here? Completely sideways into shot comes Anthony Girardot. Like I've said, they may be teammates, but they're going to defend hard from one another. Girardot will fight this for his second race win of the season. Milan would be winning his 6th race of the season if he gets this. 2 corners to go. Long left-hander. Sorry, 3 corners to go. It's the other long left-hander. We've got a long right now. Then we've got the 180-degree left. They're going to hug the apex, keep the car on the left-hand side on the white line to make sure that you open up the final corner. Girardot keeps it nice and flat. Throws it in, and he's done the job. Fantastic defending from Anthony Girardot. Now, can he hold it across the line? Because they do get a lot of slipstream down here. It's not going to be enough for Milan. Taking his 2nd win of the season in round 11 is Anthony Girardot. Brilliant performance. David Pouget takes a very important podium in 3rd place. Bossi 4th, Jimenez 5th, ahead of Guillaume, Lanapudong and Alboy. The number 23, Jordi Palomeras, is going to cross the line next up. This is side by side between Carré and Zabala. Who's going to win this one across the line? Zabala is just in front. It's actually Abea that he needs to worry about as they cross the line. Just behind him, a matter of thousandths of a second between the two. But there's your race winner, Anthony Girardot. His 2nd race win of the season. And a very, very well-deserved one at that. So it's a Milan competition 1-2 with GPA Racing in 3rd in the form of David Pouget. There's a little bit more shenanigans further down. Oh, front horn getting turned by Laurent Giardas. Now they're both fighting each other in the Gentleman Drivers' Cup. So that could be quite important for them. Looks like Orn just covers the apex. I don't think he expected Giardas to carry that much speed. And then there's contact with Bordegaray on the left-hand side, and I think that's actually burst the tyre. And I think Giardas also may be having issues on that front right after the contact as well. Big bounce around. Oh, a humongous hit there from Stéphane Etienne. Oh, and it's broken the toe link on his car. It's broken the suspension. Look at the wing mirrors gone, and oh, something's definitely broken on Giardas' car. It's out of control like a rallycross car, and then Bordegaray's gone with him. Wow, all of this kicking off in the background while we had that great race out front. Very scary moments there for all of them. Bordegaray probably arrived on that last lap thinking, oh, what a nice tidy race I've had. And then all of a sudden, he gets an entire season's worth of incidents in one go. Incredible stuff. But Anthony Girardot worked very, very hard for that. Started 4th on the grid. 3 of the fastest drivers in the series in front of him, Jimenez, Milan and Pouget. And he overcame all of them to take a glorious, glorious victory. Very well done to Anthony Girardot. That's going to help him a lot in the championship going into this. Car 5 was P5. Nicolas Milan, I believe, may take the championship lead after that one. Like I've said, there was only a matter of points, 5 points, I should say, between the two of them going into that. So David Pouget is going to get another chance tomorrow, starting on pole position for round 12 of the championship. And it's great as well. I'm very pleased to say that we're not even halfway through the series yet, because we've got 30 races planned, and this is only the 6th race meeting. It's gone by incredibly quickly already, I would say, but at the same time, it's been thoroughly, thoroughly enjoyable, and we get great racing like that all the time. So if you haven't watched Clio Cup Europe before, and you haven't joined me in watching this, trust me, we get the same every single time. So we do hope to see you with us again for future rounds of the championship. And the drivers now make their way into the pit lane. Anthony Girardot, interestingly, in the Sheffo Sport car, will be greeted by a very, very happy team, but I imagine Sheffo Sport may be a bit frustrated seeing one of their cars win a race in the hands of a different driver. Either way, round of applause for him as he gets the... For anybody that's seen Clios before will know that they do have a lot of brake squeal as they stop. But there is Anthony, very pleased indeed. A hug with one of the team members. Brilliant stuff, absolutely brilliant stuff. Like I've said, that's his 2nd win of the season. and he did it in very, very impressive fashion. It didn't look like he was in doubt at any point once he got to the front. There is the powerhouse that is Nicolas Milan, the boss man. He congratulates his teammate. Nicolas Milan is used to being on the podium by now, we could say. But Anthony will be very, very chuffed indeed. Makes a change to see Anthony in his racing overalls. The last time I saw him was at the under the awning after the 2 races at Misano, where it was nearly 30 degrees Celsius, and he was pouring a bucket of water over his head with not much clothing on, is the way I'm going to say it. But still, he'll be really, really chuffed there. David Pouget as well. 3rd place is really important for him because he had a nightmare of a first few laps, lost a lot of places. I believe at one point he was even down to 7th, maybe 6th. And it didn't look like it was going to be easy for him to bring it back, but he managed it, and he ended up in 3rd spot. Here's your official race result then. Gerardo wins by only 0.3 of a second from Nicolas Milan. Another second back then was David Pouget in 3rd. Thibaut Bossy had a great race. Thibaut started 8th on the grid in that one, managed to get up to 4th ahead of Jimenez, Guillot, Lanapoudon, Alboy, Palomeras all on his own, and Alejandro Schimpf finishing in 10th. Maybe a bit of commentator's curse from me saying watch out for him starting from 7th. But still, important for him to stay in the top 10 because it's a very, very difficult field to stay quick in. Then it's Zabala ahead of Michael Carré, Nicolas Abea and Jerzy Spinkovic. Florin Grisot finishes 15th ahead of Alex Royo, with Clement Chetucci in 17th. Paul Cocaine 18th ahead of Ivan Riera, and Javier Sequendez rounds out your top 20. Behind him was car 21 in P21. Stefan Polderman for Chefo Sport ahead of Fabian Julia in the gentleman drivers category. Lionel Viguier in 23rd had Lauren Giardis, René Steenmetz, Frank Horn, Henrik Siebel, Fabian Rival, Guy Frey, and Mikel Leal rounds out your top 30. Yes, we have more. Mikel Fay rounds out, 31st place. Joaquin Rodrigo 32nd ahead of Yereli Ospanov after that spin. Gabriel Alonso, Stefan Echen, Jeremy and Antoine Bordegaray 1 and 2 laps down respectively. Daniel Nogales not finishing the race. But that last lap was really crazy for some of them a bit further down the order. It's a shame to see it when it's like that, but at the end of the day, it's so, so frantic to see them all running so closely together. It's not easy to get it right. So we should have 3 podiums. We usually have the overall podium. We'll then have the Challengers Cup. And then we'll have the Gentleman Drivers as well. But Kevin Jimenez taking another very impressive win in the Challengers Cup. Being very, very dominant indeed in that category this season. And we have our 3 gentleman drivers which will be joining us on the podiums as well. That's going to be the number 94 of Florin Grisot. Then we're going to have Javier Sequendez and Stefan Polderman. But there is Gerardo as he came out of the final corner to take the win. A last-minute lunge by Nicolas Milan just to put the pressure on into the very last corner of the race. And it was not enough for him to take the victory. Gerardo, thumbs up to all the marshals and a wave to all the fans as well. And that's going to mean a lot to Anthony, especially as in the first qualifying session he had a technical infringement, the car broke down, and he's going to be starting the second race from the back of the grid. So out of all ways to bounce back, that is the best one. A race win to start your weekend. And he's certainly going to be a lot of fun to watch later on when he comes back through the order.
Here it is, the first podium for the Clio Cup Europe races this weekend. Overall, in 3rd place, David Pouget en France. David Pouget in position in 2nd place, Nicolas Milan, also of France. And making it Milan competition 1-2, a winner, Anthony Gerardo. and for him, the national anthem of France. Second place, David Pouchet for his first third place, and of course to Team Milan competition. Congratulations, gentlemen. See you tomorrow. Next up is the Challenger category. So here they are then, the Challenger category. In third place, Alexandra Alboui. Félicitations. In second place, Mathieu Lamprix. Félicitations. Et en première position, the winner, Kevin Jimenez of GPA Racing. Bravo. Si vous voulez lever le trophée, merci. Félicitations. À demain. Here it is, the gentleman trophies, with in third place Stefan Polderman. In second place, Javier Kikiwandes. And the winner, Laurent Rizzo. Félicitations, messieurs. Well done. If you'd like to raise the trophies, levez les trophies, s'il vous plaît. Bravo. Et à demain.
Thank you very much to Bruno for announcing that the podiums there. Wonderful stuff. Very deserving drivers from that first race of the weekend. As mentioned, we're going to be back tomorrow in the morning around 10:30 local time for round 12 of the Clio Cup Europe. Thank you very much for joining us this afternoon. We hope you enjoyed that, and if you want more, then obviously join us tomorrow. My name's Chaz Draycott. Thanks very much for sticking with us. I'll see you tomorrow.